Hello, welcome, Cabbage here. So today let's have a closer look at the library with an emphasis on max lux, recommended max lux. And then this video will be split into two parts. The first part will be recommended max lux for more beginner players, and then the latter half of the video will be aimed at more advanced players. There are a few things I want to say beforehand though. If you are just starting out, before you make any of these max lux in the library, make the max lux of the Mythos Quest monsters and Lucas. And then that will sort of influence which monsters I recommend here. So yeah, those are all worth making. And then if you do that, you'll have the 5, and then you can unlock Light Murasame and the Colossal quests. So do that first. And then I should also say that Hakua will appear after these quests. So if that is on your to-do list, go into these quests with a Hakua hunting party, and yeah, you could play these quests specifically for that reason, even if you finish the max luck of these guys. And then finally, as far as I have checked, and that's most of them, all of the 6 stars in the library, you can make the double max luck of them to give them the badge of honor here, to have them carry an Ableberry. And then that is what the latter half of the video will be talking about. There's only one character that I have seen that can get the Ableberry that is not in the library, and that is Fenrir, and then the X version, Fenrir X. So yeah, if you're interested in getting either Fenrir or Fenrir X the Ableberry, it is possible now. But you will have to wait for his mission to come around, since it's not here in the library. Okay, so let's do the recommended max lux for beginners, starting with fire. And then, yeah, the first one is this guy that I just showed. This is Hydra. And he's recommended for beginners because for a lot of people, he'll be the first max luck with no warp. And then also his quest is very easy. There are scorpions and gravity barriers, but you can bring almost anybody. And quest is not too hard. This was one of the first max lucks that I made after the Mythos quests. So this guy is recommended there. And then the other one I would say for red is Gunblaze or Soulwing. And you might think that he is not worth making, since we have the Leah evolution from the Mythos quest. But you won't be making the max luck for this red version of Soulwing. You'll be making him for the dark version of Soulwing X, and then I'll talk about him more later in the advanced section for the recommended max lucks. Yeah, so for red, I recommend Hydra and Soulwing for beginners. Alright, let's look at water next. I would recommend Tiger here. Her quest is pretty easy. And then she was really great for me in, where was it? Izanami. She kind of adds more kind of security to your team because she has high hit points. And then she has a blast bump combo, so if you have other monsters with a strong bump combo, you could certainly use them together. And then her too, actually, she has an X version, the light version of Tiger 1. And she's also really good. Also really good for Tsukuyomi. So it could even be worth making 2 max lux of Tiger 1, so that you can make the regular and then the X version. Next up is, well, there are a bunch of bounce null warp characters in the library. Here's Zenigata, and then we also got Joker. But I would say of all of the bounce, null warp water monsters, the best is Lilith. And she's not too difficult either. Her quest has scorpions and damage walls, a little bit of gravity barriers. But yeah, you can get her, and she'll be great for you in Avalon, which is the first Colossal quest. And then, let's see. This is for people that... well, I'm recommending Nurari-hyun more because she's really easy. Her quest is really easy, more than her use. She is really useful in Izanami, She can even one-punch the boss on the first boss stage, but that takes a lot of setup and technique. But she is powerful, and then the Deity Slayer goes into her laser as well, so she can be pretty good there. And I think that's all I had to say about water. Next is wood, and then I guess I can recommend Isun here for beginners. More because he's really easy than useful. But yeah, you can make a max luck of him pretty quickly and easily. Later on, there will be an X version of Isun where he will gain a null damage wall, so that'll raise his usability a little bit. So that can be a good reason to do that. Also very easy is Yoshinobu here, and there are a lot of wood monsters that are bound snow warp. Yoshinobu might be the best. She does have a strike shot where she becomes a pierce, which is one of the better strike shots for drop monsters. And yeah, her being easy is also a good reason. And then, let's see, who else is there? Circuit here, she's not super useful. I made her the max luck and I almost never use her for whatever reason. But her quest is easy. You just need null damage wall, and then again, people that can handle scorpions. But yeah, she's one of the easier ones, so if you had nothing else to do, you could make her. And this is kind of a personal pick. This is Jiraiya. Quest is not too difficult, and then if you're interested in making the max luck of Bishamonten, then the evolution version of this guy is kind of necessary. There are not a lot of other bounce, wood, null damage wall guys, so he's pretty great. And then that will do it for wood. We'll look at light next. And then this guy's a little bit similar to Nurarihyun. No null abilities, but a very strong slayer. And so a little bit tricky to use, but the payoff is worth it. And then she's also worth making because she's very, very easy. If you have any monsters with any kind of laser or like pierce attacks, so like Lucifer, or actually you could use a Gabriel as well, or D'Artagnan, or Arthur, or whomever. Key would be very easy to make. And another really highly recommended one for beginners is Ghoulie. Lots of people feel that this character is pretty easy, especially if you have a Kushinada. And it's a good max luck as well. The Pierce No Gravity Barrier is a nice combo. And who else is there? Orochimaru is very easy to play. I don't know, I made the max luck of her and I don't use her very much either, but she is very easy. And then one of the better quests to hunt for Hakua, because you can beat her quest very quickly. And the gimmicks there are gravity barriers, but even without no gravity barrier, you can get through her pretty quickly. Alright, then finally we will look at Dark, and I can recommend Dark Dragon here. Very easy quest, very quick quest. And then as a max luck, he has the Fiend Slayer L. As a max luck, he would be really good for Suruto. And he is kind of the best extreme drop monster to go to bring to light Murasame. So if you were Murasame hunting, then Dark Dragon could be your starting point. And then the last one is Bastet, and her quest is not that difficult. And you could bring Ki. If you had the max luck of Ki, you could bring her to Bastet. Ki has the Deity Slayer and is also the light element, so she would do a ton of damage to Bastet and make Bastet pretty easy. And then I would recommend her Ascension form more, because she has Minesweeper, and there are very few extreme drop monsters with Minesweeper. Alright, so that will sum up my kind of recommended max lucks for beginners, because these are mostly easy quests and most of the monsters are pretty useful. Again, the second part of the talk will be about max lucks for advanced players. And then what I mean by that is especially characters that you want to make a double max luck of so that you can give them an Ableberry. And then this is a real kind of personal recommendation. This is for only people that are in love with the one-way laser. that goes straight up. People like me. But yeah, one of the problems with extreme drop monsters is that they don't do a lot of damage. And so anytime you have an extreme drop monster with a strong bump combo, they're worth considering. When Vendetta Evolution is at the full level, his one-way laser will do 17,000 damage, which is very good for an extreme drop monster. And then we also see he has a bump combo critical, which can even make that more strong. So there are there's lots of potential for damage with him. And then if you were to make the double of him and then give him the Ableberry, it might be worth hunting for the sidekick Ableberry to push his base bump combo damage over 20,000. So that would be pretty crazy for a max luck. His quest is pretty difficult, however. If you had Raphael or D'Artagnan, that would make it a lot easier. But yeah, maybe give his quest a try and then see how doable it is for you. Alrighty. And then here we'll come back to Soulwing. And then I would say he's worth making the double max luck of the X version, the dark version. Because he gets the light resistance. So in light quests, he'll do extra damage, but he won't take extra damage himself. And then you can kind of pile on that with the Ableberry by giving him Survivor. Survivor is really good on any monster with resistance, since that basically upgrades their resistance. And then you could take him to floor 24 of the Tower of Champions, and you can give him a Detox Ableberry. Because the gimmicks there are very strong poison with the Detox Ableberry. He would sort of take care of that. You also want Null Gravity Barrier, and then he also has light resistance, and it is a light quest, so he would do a lot of damage there. And I'm going to start working on my double max luck of Soulwing X, so that would be my other recommendation. For water, the monsters that I would recommend the double max luck of so you can give them the Ableberry, the first one would be Okita Solji, the Ascension version, which has Pierce and Null Damage Wall. And water monsters with Pierce and Null Damage Wall are very rare for drop monsters. And there are no impossible monsters now or in the future that have Pierce and Null Damage Wall. So that means Okita Solji, and then her counterpart, Kai. These guys will be very useful for a very long time. So I recommend making the double max luck of either one of these guys. Recommended Ableberries for Okita Solji Ascension. She gets a Mech Slayer, so you can give her the Kin Strength Ableberry just to up that Slayer. Her base HP is also very low, so if you're worried about that, you can give her a Kin Vigor Ableberry. But yeah, when it comes to Ableberries and drop monsters, I would say the same rules apply as with Hatcher monsters, where you want to kind of build on their strengths rather than cover their weaknesses. So in Okita's case, I would say take advantage of her Slayer, so give her Kin Strength Ableberry, rather than cover her weaknesses. She does have low HP, but I never really found that to be a problem, even going through like Ashura or Vendetta or guys like that. And then coming to Kai, I would also recommend the Kin Strength Ableberry for him, but sort of for a different reason. His strike shot is the Meteor Strike Shot, where the damage is decided directly by his attack power. His attack power is multiplied to determine the Meteor Strength. And so if you give him a Kin Strength Ableberry, that'll raise his attack, and so raise his Meteor damage. You could also give him the Strike Haste Ableberry so that you can get out the Meteor earlier. Okay, so, and that's it actually, basically, for the blue, or the water recommended max lucks, the Pierce Null Damage Walls. Alright, looking at green, I would recommend Tengu here, and then he's got the double null ability, and then now and in the future there will be no no impossible drop monsters that have this null ability. There will be a Shambhala, but that is a Pierce. Tengu will still be the only one that is a bounce. And then as for recommended ableberries for him, if you go for the evolution version, which I highly recommend, we can see that he's a blast type, and then he has a very strong bump combo. So to give the evolution version the sidekick ableberry would be pretty great. I think he could be very useful there. And then the other wood monster I would recommend a double max luck of is Gigamantis. And then him too, there's not going to be an impossible monster in the future that has Pierce null damage wall. So Gigamantis will remain viable for a very, very long time. So that makes it worth giving him an ableberry. And then just like Kai with the Meteor Strike Shot, Gigamantis also has that same Strike Shot. So I would recommend the Kin Strength ableberry for him. And then this is kind of a dark horse pick. I'm going to go back to Jiraiya. It may be worth making the double max luck of him, because you could use him in Bishamonten, and then you could give him the style Kin Strength ableberry of S class or better, so that you could raise Kushinada's attack high enough to one-punch the anti-Pierce guys in Bishamonten. But that's only for the super hardcore people, so an option, but you don't necessarily need to take it. Okay, let's look at Light, and we're going to see some repeated characters. Ki, she would be worth making the double max luck of, just because she's so unique in her use that will not be fulfilled by impossible max lucks in the future. And then for her stats are really crazy. So if you gave her Kin Strength, that will be also multiplied by 2.5 with the Deity Slayer. And that's what I would give to her there. Maybe you could also give her a Strike Haste. Her strike count is low anyway, so you could maybe fit 2 strike shots in there. Another one, this is also a repeat from the beginners, but Ghoulie. And I'm saying specifically for the Ascension version, for use in the Dragon Gem quests. It's a Pierce with Null Gravity Barrier and the Blast Bump combo. So he has a lot of use in that if you're using other guys with strong bump combos like Arthur. And then for that very specific use, I would recommend a Kin Speed ableberry. Just because his purpose in the Dragon Gem quests is to set off other people's bump combos. So to get the speed up and then hit more guys, that could be useful for there. And then here, this is one of my personal favorites. This is a Typhon. And let's see, Flight Null Gravity Barrier. If you were to make the max look of a Hakua, that would sort of obsolete Typhon here, but almost nobody's going to make the max luck of Hakua, so Typhon will keep his usability for a very long time. And he's got a ton of abilities, so a ton of different ableberries would be good for him. He does have the Fiend Slayer, so Kin Strength ableberry would be good for him there. He has the one-way laser, and this would be good with a sidekick. What else is good for him? Strike Haste as well. He does have that guaranteed stun strike shot, meteor strike shot. So to speed that up would be good. So yeah, lots and lots of ableberries would be good for him. And then finally for Light, I would recommend Titanium. Not this version, but the Ascension version, which has, I think it's Demon Slayer. And yeah, you could give him a Kin Strength ableberry just to, max out that Demon Slayer damage. Okay, and then finally, Dark. There's only one I would recommend, and that would be Bastet again, the Ascension version of Bastet. And then she has really strong, or very high attack, and she also has a Minesweeper. So if you gave her a Kin Strength ableberry there, that would get multiplied by the mine as well. So that would make her even more dangerous there. So yeah, that was my list of monsters that would be very good to get an ableberry on. And kind of ableberries that are good for any extreme drop monster or hatcher monster. Those would be a Survivor or what's the other one? Cutthroat. Those are good in almost every situation. And also Knockout as well. Knockout's pretty rare, but if you get Knockout on one of these extreme drop monsters, that would be amazing. That would be ideal for me, just get Knockout on everybody. Okay, well, long video, but thanks for hanging in there, and have fun making those Max Lux. I certainly will. Alright, thanks for watching. Take care.